Yep, Georgetown, Texas is known as a great place to live, but it's got a very unique aspect that a lot of people are aware of, but some aren't. It's got more 55 plus housing than any other community around Austin. It's literally the Costco of 55 plus housing for seniors. Bottom line is, if you want to retire and move to Georgetown, Texas, you have lots and lots of options. So quit trying to keep up with the Joneses. As a matter of fact, they retired here last year. So take a look at some of the market updates that we've got here. Pay close attention to this channel, and we'll keep you updated on what's going on. Take a look. I'm sorry, I didn't promise you good news, but I did promise you updates. And it's really not all bad news. Let me show you what I mean. First of all, home sales for homes in 55 plus communities. Now, that's not including Sun City. I'm going to show you some information on that by itself. But 55 plus communities saw sales drop about 4.5%. It's not terrible. As a matter of fact, we're approaching during this correction phase, and the correction phase is still the aftermath of that 21 and 22 crazy frenzy market that drove prices up so high. We're still in the aftermath of that. 24 was a little slower than 23, and 25 has started out a little slower than 24. That doesn't mean it'll continue that way, but right now it seems a little bit slower than, for example, me at Costco on free sample day. But we're going to look at some things that may give an indication that we're moving forward. So stay tuned and let's look at the next slide. No, this isn't the indication we're moving forward, but it is an indication we are still approaching normal. From that really high market, we have been approaching normal for a while now. The average price for a home in the 55 plus communities besides Sun City is about 7% less than a year ago. Now, the market isn't just still correcting, it's sending a strongly worded message. Buyers are not quite ready. They're not quite getting what they want with price reductions. But I believe we're approaching that, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. I know it's another negative stat. Homes are staying on the market longer in the 55 plus communities. Look at that stat, 152 days. Some of these houses seem like they're staying on the market long enough to qualify for Social Security. But I want to correct something with this 152 days. There are several homes that were on the market for so long that they skewed this. Now, we have quite a bit of data, so it's hard to skew it. But there were a handful of homes that stayed on the market an extremely long time. So if you take those out, this moves down to less than 100 days. And that's really not bad. That's about just over 3 month time on the market, which is approaching a normal market. I hope this makes sense. So this stat tells you how much more sellers lowered their prices in 25 than they did in 24. So we're now at about, let's just round it up to 93%. So when the average house goes on the market, it goes on the market at, we'll call it original price. Then the price it's at when it goes under contract is about 93% of that. So the bottom line is the original price the sellers want and the price buyers are willing to pay are just not on speaking terms. It's just not working out. So those price reductions are necessary to get buyers to take action. Now, this one's kind of a surprise to me. I thought we would see less price reductions than we did a year ago, because in some of the other markets around Georgetown, other than the 55 plus communities, we did see less price reduction, which means that sellers are more able to meet current buyer demands and get their houses sold faster. Let me share something with you real quick. You see, in 22, when sellers were guessing their prices, they were too low. Their houses were selling far more than they ever expected. They were thrilled. 2025, it's a different story. Sellers are just praying they can get anywhere close to what they want. However, what they want is considerably more, 8% more, than what buyers are willing to negotiate with. So you understand that when we get to 93%, that's when the negotiating starts. Sellers are having to lower their prices about 7% just to get to the starting point of negotiating. Now, that's not everybody by any means. Bottom line is this. Sellers who price their homes to sell without lowering the price technically make more money, sell faster, and sell closer to asking. I've just seen it too many times over my career. When you start high and lower and lower and lower, you do get sold if you take action, if you're proactive. But if you start your price at a lower price and get it sold faster and closer to asking, you make more money. It's true in every market across the board. So keep this rule in mind if you're selling a home. Now here's the one bright spot that makes me feel like we might be close to turning that corner, and that's that buyers are paying closer to asking price. It's kind of like they're saying, hey, we want you to lower your prices more, but at least we're going to be polite when we negotiate, because they're negotiating to over 97%, which is normal. In good real estate markets like 2016, 2017, 2018, the list to sell ratio was around 97 to 97.5%. So this particular stat shows a normal market. It shows that buyers are going, okay, we're buying at that price. We feel like your price is where it needs to be. Now let's negotiate and get a deal done. So there certainly is one bright spot, and I don't think this particular stat would be there if we weren't moving forward and getting more positive. So with all that said, let me give you a current picture. In the 55 plus market, outside of Sun City, we see a 32% hotness ratio. This compares the number of homes that are under contract compared to the number of homes that are actively on the market. We really want to see that up closer to 50% and more. So we're still in a slow market, but we're still in that correcting phase, as you saw from the previous updates. And the inventory we're seeing on the market is about 5.6 months. That is normal. So this is the second normal stat we've seen. The list to sell ratio and the inventory, 5.6 months is normal. Actually, 6 months is normal. 5.6 is slightly better than normal. So we're not seeing negative stats across the board. We're seeing some positive stats. And that is a very good thing when we've been in a correcting market for a couple of years. Now, I've got a couple bonus slides for you. The 55 plus communities in Georgetown, Texas, besides Sun City. I wanted you to know that Sun City stats on their own are actually slightly better. So we're seeing a little higher average price for Sun City home sales. We're seeing a little higher price per square foot. So why are people willing to pay more per square foot in Sun City? Well, let's face it, it's Sun City. It's very popular. It's very well known. It's got tons of amenities. That doesn't mean other communities don't, but it does have golf courses. If you're a golfer, you're willing to pay a little more per foot based on this stat. These homes are selling a little faster, not a lot faster, but they are selling a little faster on the average, and they are selling slightly closer to asking. There's not a big differential, but when you take Sun City, it's so overwhelming because of the sheer numbers. It skews the stats on the other 55 plus communities. That's why I separated them out. And you don't deserve just one bonus, you deserve two. So compared to the Georgetown residential real estate market, how do the 55 plus communities work? Well, 22% higher average price in Georgetown real estate, and buyers pay a little more per square foot. One of the reasons people like the 55 plus communities, little better pricing. Now, homes in Georgetown real estate are selling a little bit faster, not a lot, but a little faster than homes in the 55 plus communities, and they're selling a little bit closer to asking. So are we thinking that the 55 plus communities are a weak market? No, there's always going to be a differential. It's a different pool of buyers, it's a different pool of sellers, and it's going to perform differently than the overall market. Now, I know a lot of sellers and agents feel like the market is slower than a Sun City yoga class, but we are seeing signs of revival. I did put another video up here for you. This is all about our guarantee. Love it or leave it. You buy a home from us in a 55 plus community and you're not totally thrilled, it's just not the life for you, you just don't know why you did it, well, we'll sell the house for you and waive our fee. This video explains. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this one, hit that like button. That always helps me. And subscribe if you'd like to see more like this. Remember, it's your choice, so make it a powerful day.